Next question is, in the interim government formed in 1946, the vice president of the executive council was. Options are Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Though this question can be considered to be of modern Indian history or colonial Indian history, but I have given this question in Indian polity and constitution because to tell you some points. And what is this point? Because it talks about interim government. So it is one aspect of this question is also related to the polity. So I have given this question in polity also. Though this question can be categorized into history also as a history question also. Now let's talk about the answer to this question will be Jawaharlal Nehru. But what is the background of this question? Let me tell you. We know that in the Second World War that went on through from 1939 to 45. After the Second World War, we know that in India there was Wavell Plan. So Wavell Plan came. The viceroy was Wavell. Lord Wavell was the viceroy. Lord Wavell was the viceroy, and he put forth a Wavell Plan. And according to this Wavell Plan, in the Governor General Executive Council, or also we can say Viceroy's Executive Council, there will be only the Viceroy will be Viceroy will be an English. So Viceroy will be only an English, while all the other members, all the other 14 members, so there were 14 members in the Viceroy's Executive Council in 1945. So all these 14 members apart from Viceroy will be all Indians. So the Indians were given representation in the Viceroy's Executive Council in Wavell Plan also itself, by the means of Wavell Plan itself. So Wavell Plan in 1945 itself talked that the Viceroy's Executive Council, that was the executive body at the time in India, and that has one Governor General who was the head of the Executive Council. So Governor General was the President of Executive Council. Governor General was the President of Executive Council or head of the Executive Council, and apart from this, there were other members in the Executive Council. So the Wavell Plan provided that apart from Viceroy, all the other members and the Vice President of the Executive Council out of those members will be Indians. Only Indians can be appointed as the members in the Executive Council to provide a responsible or self-government in India. But at that point of time, this Wavell Plan could not be accepted. But after the Cabinet Mission, when Cabinet Mission came and it provided a way for the Constituent Assembly, so Cabinet Mission provided a way for Constituent Assembly, and it provided a framework for the framework for a Constituent Assembly and a framework for election to the in India and all these things. Then after the Cabinet Mission, an interim government was formed. And in this interim government, there were three elements. First, the Viceroy will be the head of the Executive Council. He will be the President of Executive Council, and there will be members in the Executive Council. And there will be, apart from Viceroy, there will be 14 members in the Executive Council. Apart from Viceroy, there will be 14 members in the Executive Council, and all these 14 members will be Indians as provided in the Wavell Plan. So all these 14 members will be Indians, and these Indian members to the Viceroy's Executive Council, Indians, out of these Indian members to the Viceroy's Executive Council, one member will be the Vice President of the Executive Council. So Jawaharlal Nehru became the Vice President of Executive Council in the Viceroy's Executive Council or Governor General's Executive Council before the independence itself. So this was the question, and the answer to this question will be Jawaharlal Nehru. Now let's come to the next question. The next question is, let me make this. So the next question is, which one of the following is not explicitly stated or mentioned not explicitly stated or mentioned in the Constitution of India but followed as a convention or practice. Convention or practice. So it is asking which of the following practice is not mentioned in the Constitution. Which one of the following practice is not mentioned in the Constitution of India but followed as a convention. The first practice, the first finance minister is to be a member of the lower house. Second option is the prime minister has to resign if he loses majority in the lower house. Third option is all the parts of India have to be represented in the Council of Ministers. Fourth option is in the event of both president and the vice president demitting the office simultaneously before the end of their tenure, the speaker of the Lok Sabha will officiate as the president. So these are the four options to this question. The correct answer to this question will be option B. The prime minister has to resign if he loses majority in the lower house of the parliament. To understand this question clearly, we have to know the government formation. We have to know how the government is formed and what happens when the government is formed and how the government is removed and all these things. So let's talk about the formation of the government. Government formation. As we know that Indian polity is a federal polity. So we have, being a federal polity, we have government, we have dual government, we have separation of concept of separation of power. Being a federal polity, we have dual government, we have separation of power, concept of separation of power in the form of 7th schedule, separation of power, dual government at the level of union level, that is central level, at the state level or provincial level, separation of power in the form of 7th schedule, that is state list, union list and concurrent list, 7th schedule. We have dual polity. Dual government means dual polity, union polity and federal polity. So we have dual polity. And dual polity here means every agency, every organization, most of the constitutional organizations and constitutional bodies are at the level of both, that is central level also, state level also. For example, if we talk about the courts, the highest courts, higher courts. So we have Supreme Court for the whole of India, while we have high courts for their respective states. And even we have high courts for Delhi also, that is it is a union territory, but we have separate high court. We have election commission at the union level also, election commission at the central level also, and the state level also. We have finance commission, constitution for union also, finance commission for constitution for respective states also, state finance commission, union finance commission also. So we have public service commissions at the union level also and at the state level also. So most of the constitutional bodies or government bodies or organizations we have at both the levels, that is union level and at the central level, and this is called dual polity. So all these features of the federal polity are present in the Indian Constitution, and this is the reason why Indian Constitution is also called federal polity, because it has concept of dual government, it has concept of separation of power, it has concept of dual polity and all these things. So let's talk about, when we talk about the government formation, so as we know that being the federal polity, India has a government at the two levels, one at the central level, union level, and at the provincial level or state level. Union level, it is called central government or union government, central government or union government, and at the provincial level we have state government. But how the government are formed? Now let's talk about the formation of the government. So to form the government, first elections are held. Elections to form the government. As we know that in India we have parliamentary system. So the elections are held. We have parliamentary system. based on responsible government, parliamentary system, and responsible government. Responsible government both at the union level and at the central level. So we have a concept of responsible government based on parliamentary system. Because why we say responsible government? Because the executives, though we have concept of separation of power, but the Indian concept of separation of power is not absolute separation of power. Separation of power. The Indian concept of separation of power is based on a fine balance, a separation of power along with checks, concept of checks and balances. So in India we have government, though we have concept of separation of power. In India we have concept of separation of, along with separation of power, we have concept of checks and balances. Checks and balances. Because to provide for checks and balances, the government is responsible government. To provide for a responsible government, the executives are drawn. Executives are drawn from the legislature. Drawn from the legislature to provide for a responsible government. So first elections are held at the union level. This is called parliamentary election, and the state level it is called state elections. Parliamentary elections and state elections are held. And here parliamentary election we are talking about election to general election. In parliamentary election also we are talking about general election, that is election to Lok Sabha. And here in state election we are talking about election to the legislative, state legislative assemblies, that is the lower house at the state level, lower house at the central level. And after that what happens? When the elections are held, many parties, many candidates contest the elections, and the party commanding, in India we have party system, so party commanding, the party commanding majority in the lower house can stake claim to form the government. And the president, it stake claim to the president to form government. President appoint the prime minister. So president appoint the prime minister, and based on that, on the advice of the prime minister, council of ministers are appointed, and the prime minister, president, and all these people, they function as the government at the union level. In the same way, in states also, when the state elections are held, the party commanding majority in the Lok Sabha, if a particular party gets the majority, and in the lower house, in the legislative assembly, it stakes claim to the governor that I have majority in the absolute majority and majority in the lower house. So it is take claim, and the governor then appoints the chief minister on the advice of chief minister. Governor appoints the state council of ministers that function as the government body or executive body at the state level. So this is the you can say system of formation of government. Now let's talk about one more thing, that is, suppose if no, in case of hung assembly, hung lower house means in case of union Lok Sabha, in case of states legislative assembly. So in case of hung lower house means that no party getting absolute majority. If no party in the election, no party has got absolute majority or commanded majority, then what will happen? At the union level, president, it is the discretionary power of the president, and at the state level, it is the discretionary power of the governor to appoint anyone as the chief minister. Governor will appoint anyone as the chief minister, and president will appoint anyone as the prime minister, and give him time to prove majority in the lower house. So to prove confidence, there will be a confidence motion, and he has to prove there will be a floor test, and in that floor test he has to prove his majority in the Lok Sabha. So this is the system